Hello, this is Rob Mazak, and I'd like to take a moment to welcome you to the Life by Mazak podcast channel. Here on this channel, anything is possible. Any subject will and usually is discussed, and there's no telling how this message will unfold as we work through an idea, through an experience, or through a thought. These subjects come from the vast amount of information and experience through spirit, through life lessons, and from working with a lot of other people. Scripts are never used on this channel, and the message simply unfolds as the subject is discussed. Follow along and see where it leads us, or more specifically, where it leads me. These podcasts are produced in the hopes of helping others to benefit, to grow, and to excel in their own human experience. At Life by Mazak, we work towards helping you achieve wellness for your mind, your body, and your soul using many specialized services. Services that include psychic medium and tarot readings, quantum healing hypnosis, past life regression, intuitive Reiki healing, life coaching, and many other services. If you enjoyed this podcast, please click the like button and share this with others. Our goal is to reach as many people as we can with the knowledge that is shared on this podcast channel. Well, good evening, folks. This is the 31st of December, 2024. And as you know, I like to talk about a lot of metaphysical and motivational stuff primarily. But I am sitting here tonight feeling great change coming. And if you look across the social media platforms and all the videos that are out there, the articles, you will hear many people saying the same type of things. And it just definitely does feel that way, like there's major change coming. And it's kind of like, for me, the same feeling I was getting at the end of 2019, that something really world-changing was going to happen. I didn't have any indication of what that was, but I could feel it in the air. I got massively sick, week before the end of the year. And in my opinion, it turned out to be that it was probably COVID. They weren't really testing for it then. However, I think I got it before it came around. And then, of course, COVID hit, and it changed the world, as we all know. It just completely turned us upside down on our heads. The whole world, actually. It wasn't just the United States or a select part of the world. It does very much feel like that again. And I'm not saying we're going to have a massive outbreak or epidemic or anything like that. Who knows? I guess it could be. Because there are a lot of people talking about a lot of strange occurrences across the globe. The United States, I think specifically, and a few other key countries. But a lot of people are talking about the fact that there's a lot of asthma, lung issues, viral issues, people just becoming sick in very fun ways. And I can kind of align with that. It's over today. I slowly began to feel kind of lousy and not really sure what it is. I'm deciding to, not do much tonight other than this kind of thing. Stay inside, run the heater, cover my ears from all the fireworks. Oh my gosh, the fireworks are always like a war zone around my house. I am not at my house tonight. I'm somewhere different where I stay during the week, but there's still loud music going on and all that kind of stuff. And I am happy that people are encouraged for the turn of the year and that there's great hope for change that's going to be for the better. And I really do hope that. I'm not here to be a doomsday. I guess what I would say is I'm not here to talk gloom and doom. There is a lot of common things or themes going on across the internet that I wanted to kind of talk about. And they are very interesting, and they're standing out, and they're becoming very much like patterns. So for a long time, I don't know, it was a long time, at least a month, I'm guessing, there's been lots and lots of these interesting drone sightings, or whatever they are, or what they call them, across the skies. I haven't really seen them myself. I am an FAA drone operator, licensed one already, so I'm a little confused as to them saying that they don't know what these are, because I guarantee when I put my drone up, they know it's me and they know that I'm flying it. So I'm a little confused about what all that is. My personal feeling is it's a distraction or a theme that's leading somewhere. And I'm very sure that it's some aspect of our government, perhaps, or governments, or some high-level agencies that are doing these type of things for a very specific reason. I don't think that they're alien. If you've heard my talks before, sorry, I have had interactions with the alien species, and I don't feel like that's what's happening. Because I guarantee if aliens wanted to do something here, they would not have to be nefarious about it. I think they're way beyond our technology, and I don't think that they would be scared to come in here and do whatever they need to do. So I don't think that's what that is. I'm sure they can do surveillance a lot of ways without having to show up in our skies. But that seemed to kind of slow down. Not entirely. But the other thing that's interesting about that is on TikTok, they are taking down your account, or taking down the posts that talk about the drones. So now people are using the term Dior bags in place of drones. Well, I don't know about you, but if I was managing TikTok and I was censoring TikTok, I would realize that that's what they're talking about. So I'm not sure why they're doing that and why they chose Dior bags. However, it is happening a lot, or it has been happening a lot. It seems like it's slowed down a lot. Like I said, not happened to me or in my area. I'm in the Austin, Texas area, and San Antonio, Texas area. Haven't seen them. Not saying they're not there. I just have not seen them. And the other thing that's really captivating the internet is this weird, mysterious fog. And the fog that they're showing with the videos that they're posting, it doesn't look like normal fog. I'm not saying it isn't, but based on all the videos that I've been seeing over the course of the last couple hours as I'm doing my research on it and looking at this, it looks like very strange white, powdery substances or particles that are being flooded in the air, and it's not necessarily fog. It looks like fog at the big picture side of it, but when you really drill in and you really get up close with that and you look at how it congeals and combines on the ground, it is definitely not normal fog. Now, well, it might be fog, but with some added things or something that has been added. Now, I'm not sure what that is. I'm sure that there's also another reason or idea behind that that's leading up to something, or perhaps covering up something that we're not supposed to be seeing. Now, it's not happening over the entire planet all the time. I've seen a lot of instances of it around South Florida, Minnesota, the UK is reporting it. I'm not sure about other countries, but it is just seems to be all over the place. And people are reporting that they are having a lot of trouble breathing, having some kind of lung issues, having been immersed in this particular fog or whatever it is. Like I said, I'm not really entirely sure what that is, but it certainly is quite nefarious and it's not natural. We could speculate all day long, obviously. I'm just trying to bring up the obvious and talk about some things that are going on. The other thing that is happening very routinely over the last, I think just this week actually, is a lot of plane accidents. A lot of airplane accidents have happened. And it is just like one after the other after the other. And we've all heard the saying that bad things happen in groups of three or three times. It is way beyond three times. I mean, it seems like every time I pop onto MSN.com or any news channel whatsoever, alternative or otherwise, there is another story about a plane accident. And I don't know if that's coincidental or if there's really something going on. And in my mind, I'm like, I really don't want to get on a plane anytime soon. Although it is technically the safest form of travel percentage-wise, because many more people die in car accidents and motorcycle accidents and mass shootings and all that, much more than they do in an airliner or an airplane. However, it's just like all the time. And I'm not really sure exactly what is going on. Maybe this fog has something to do with it. Maybe the drones have something to do with it. People are talking about the fact that birds are acting very strangely. Just miles and miles and miles of birds that are flying around nonstop, heading who knows where. In my area in San Antonio, it is December, obviously, and it should be cold, and nature should be reacting to the fact that it's a different time. It's fall. I do have one tree that is actually acting like it should. The leaves are coming off. But in the front yard, I have a rose bush that grows white roses, and it is in absolute full bloom. I mean, I've never seen it so much in bloom as I have in the month of December. And at the same time, to the left of that, we got a really big sage plant, bush, tree, whatever it is. And it also has a lot of flower buds on it. And we haven't had a lot of rain, and it's not like that has caused that to happen. It's just a normal winter in Texas, much warmer than it probably should be. However, I don't think that's the problem, because even in the warm winters that we've had in Texas, the plants and the trees and things still react to the season like they should. In the fall, generally, plants and trees, most of them, will shed their leaves and the flowers and all these things. And then spring comes around and guess what? Then they regrow. Well, it is definitely not happening that way now. So I can tell you, I don't know what is happening across the planet, but there is great change happening all around us. And maybe it always has. I can't say that it hasn't. And maybe it's just because we're so connected through social media and the internet and news channels and all those things that we find out more than we used to. And that could very well be. But I don't think that is entirely the case, because it's just too many anomalies that are happening one after the other. And I don't expect 2025 to be a very light year. I believe that it's going to come with many problems. Here in the state of Texas, we have had lots of problems with immigration, as you know. I was involved with the Border Mission for a year and a half, and now I'm on the full-time employee side of the military instead, still supporting that Border Mission, and it has been nonstop. And we all know, we've all heard the plans from our incoming or returning President Trump. I'm not saying that what he's planning is good or bad. It's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm just talking about the fact that immigration is about to swing the other way really hard. And I think in Texas, we're going to see great changes. And I'm sure some of the other border countries, and probably many of the other, I'm sorry, not border countries, border states, And I believe that other states will be affected as well. But here in Texas, I guarantee you, it's going to be very interesting. And there are many other changes that he's talking about, and even some that are already in place even before he steps into the presidency. I don't think it matters how you look at 2025 as it rolls around, that you can see it at all without anticipation of great change. Much of this change is very mechanical, built into our reality. It could be a lot of different things. It could be very well be that it's a very spiritual cleansing as well, meaning, it's been written in many texts, across the religions and doctrine that's in our recorded history, and prophecies of great times where the cleansing of the earth basically is going to take place. In the Bible, they talk about the rapture or the removing of lots of people. The word rapture is not really in the Bible, but it's insinuated with different words. And so it could very well be that we are falling into that paradigm as well. And I think that the earth is going through great changes itself. I mean, if you look at Mother Earth as a living organism, which a lot of people do and equate it that way, and it kind of makes sense because we used to resonate with the frequency of the earth. But we have done so much damage to the earth through all the use of oil and fracking and chemicals and all these ultra low electronic waves, cell signals, Wi-Fi, all these different things that we are blasting the earth with. The energy has changed tremendously. It's hard to imagine that the earth could really resonate with the human frequency anymore. So it's becoming very, very difficult to actually reunite and use the earth to help you balance like we used to be able to. Even so, it's probably the best source we have because, the information age and technology is not the end-all be-all. Yes, it can help, and we have kept people alive a lot longer. People live longer because of technology. Yes, I get it. But I do think that the earth is going to be going through its own cycle of cleansing the fleas on it, like the fleas on a dog. We might very well be like fleas to the earth that is causing such damage that it's time to cleanse that and get rid of that. Now, I know that this has happened many times in the past. I've spoken about this in many of my podcasts. Like I said, I believe this is the 5th civilization that is in our recorded history that has come out of the ashes from quote-unquote caveman days, ascended through to higher levels of information and technology, and those from the past have simply just disappeared. Poof, gone, either destroyed themselves or were removed. I don't know if there's a real solid answer on that, but if you look at this paradigm and this historical data, just like any history, it's doomed to repeat itself. We may very well be repeating that same cycle. And I don't know what's going to happen, but I do believe that troubled times are coming, and I think we need to be prepared. I don't know how well we can prepare because there's nowhere to go. And a lot of people would claim that, going underground and stocking up things is going to do the trick, and it might if you have a lot of money. But 90% of the population across the planet don't have that kind of resource or that kind of money to do that. So how do you prepare? Well, that's a really good question. I'm not sure if I have the entire answer. But I do think, though, that the best way we can prepare for any hard times or anything that's coming, great change, and I'm pretty sure that everybody listening to this would agree that changes are just astronomical right now. I didn't even touch on the wars and the possibility of nuclear armament being used, missiles and all that stuff. Russia's been touting that for a while. One of these days, somebody's going to push the button, and it's going to be really interesting. And I hope not. I really do hope not, because that would not just destroy part of the planet, but just affect all of us. I think that the best way we can prepare ourselves is to really go within. Now I get to be a little more metaphysical, right? Because what happens to us and what happens to us from an external source is not our fault necessarily. We don't necessarily control what happens to us, but we can certainly control how we react and how we stand in the face of danger and troubles and hard times. Because attitude, and I guess attitude is probably the best word, is in our control. We can control how we react. We can control how we get through things. We can get ourselves back up off the mat when we get knocked down. As long as we have breath in our lungs and we have a heartbeat, we can get through just about anything. I'm not saying anything, but we can fight through it. We can survive. We can become something different after things happen to us. And many times we do become a better person after things happen to us, right? Because without trials, we're really just a blob and a mediocre human being, if you ask me. What makes warriors is all the struggles and the fights and the hard times. Because if you don't have those things, you become a weak person in a lot of ways, physically, mentally, all the above. So I'm not sure if that's the grand plan of the Creator, however you look at that, of God or the universe or any of that. Maybe that's the case. Maybe we are being hardened for times to come that are supposed to come, and it is necessary, and the cleansing is coming. I don't know. But I think we really need to take stock in ourselves. Yes, worry about our families and our friends and stuff, but remember that the large swath of time to work on anyone should be for you, because the universe is concerned with one and only one as far as you are concerned. Because if you run out of you, you cannot help anybody after that. So we really have to work on ourselves and become as strong as we can mentally, physically, spiritually, all the above. Because there's multiple levels to us. Because if you're strong physically, it doesn't make you a smart person. And if you're a smart person, it doesn't make you a physically strong person. On and on, if you catch that analogy, right? We are supposed to be a complete package, well balanced in all those aspects, so that we can be able to push through just about anything, to be able to survive and to keep the human race alive. Because I think in those historical pasts of all those societies, somehow there was a reset, or some of those populations must have survived because we're still here. Because if civilizations were completely wiped out and have disappeared off the planet or this reality, then either somebody restarted us or something restarted us, or there was enough people left to repopulate the earth, and here we are. But I don't think that we are alone in this venture. And you can look at that spiritually, right? Or you can look at that in a scientific way. Spiritually, yes. In my opinion, there's a great creator. You can call it God. You can call it the universe. You can call it the Tao. You can call it whatever. But I do believe there's some intelligent designer, and you can give whatever name you want to that. And I know there's people out there that don't believe that that's the case. Hey, everybody's welcome to their belief. Just talking about me. It just seems like this reality is way too complex to be something that happened by accident. And I don't believe that it's something that Even if it was created, it has to be maintained. Something or someone is definitely involved, in my opinion. And you can also look at that scientifically in a lot of ways, because this reality, I think, is really what you think it is. Because if you study any version of reality or what this place is supposed to be, flat earth, round earth, simulation theory, there's many things that you can look at. You'll find that if you're deep into study on one of those, everything that you see, your mind will go out and support that with what you believe. And so you will begin to experience what it is you believe. So I think that this reality of ours is simply something that we create as we go in many ways. And I think, if nothing else, we support it. Because if we have a large part of the population that believes that the earth is round and it's a globe and it's spinning through space and all those things, then that energy will certainly support that paradigm. I think back in earlier days, before Copernicus and all these other people came along with these theories about the round earth, everybody was convinced and believed that the earth was flat, that it's still and motionless. And so I believe that that's what supported that idea of reality. And I think that is what is happening. And perhaps all of us on this planet or in this place are the ones causing all of these things to happen that I spoke of earlier in the podcast. Perhaps we are so immersed in our boredom and our mediocrity and not really going out and becoming better humans in many cases, and probably a large part of the population's eating, working, consuming, dying, not really amounting to anything. Perhaps we're creating our own drama, our own problems, our own issues that are actually growing through the combined efforts of the consciousness on this planet, which is very viable. People do that all the time. I can do that individually when I'm doing energy work, for example, across the planet to somebody else that I've never met. I can affect it just the same as if I'm there in my living room or in my office. If the collective part of humanity, or the large part of the humanity that's in this reality, is on the same wavelength and the same belief system, looking at the same things, it just perpetuates and grows it, and it becomes more of reality. And so I think we all have to kind of sit back and decide whether we want to accept all this stuff that's happening. And I know that's easier said than done, because we can't even get two people to agree on one thing, much less 8 billion or so people. But that's really the answer, isn't it? If we all came together at some point and we became a one mind, or one idea, one thought, then we could change this reality, could we not? I really wish it was that easy to actually get that done. I don't think that's going to happen. Our governments, our leaders, they certainly and clearly would like us to be divided and never be able to come together on anything. Easiest way to rule people, right? Now, actually, on that note, I went to the movies and I watched the movie Wicked. It was really kind of cool. That's a musical, not necessarily my thing. The Wizard of Oz guy, the guy who was playing the Wizard of Oz, said something that just struck me really hard. He said that the best way to create obedience and congeal and bring people into a harmonious belief system is to have a common enemy. In that case, in the movie, it was animals. But if you were trying to run and control 8 billion people, would you not, in some way, shape, or form, love to create a common enemy, like an alien invasion or aliens from somewhere else that are probably not real, created through technology? It's very easy to do these days. It's not hard at all. I mean, CGI and AI and all that, it would not be difficult to create something that feels real, looks real, and everybody then becomes kind of a hive mind or one idea to try to come together and beat something that really isn't even there. I'm not saying that aliens are not real, because we talked about that earlier as well. I'm just saying I don't think aliens will come into this reality to do anything like that because of the non-interference clause and a lot of different things, reasons they're not supposed to interfere here unless we are going to destroy ourselves, which they have come in for that. When the nuclear bombs were dropped in Japan, all of a sudden there's a lot more sightings of UFOs and UAPs, or whatever they're called now. I do not think that they are going to mingle with us and pop in here and do anything like that, invade us, because if they wanted to wipe us out with the technology that they likely have, if they're traveling across vast distances of the universe, I don't think that us pitiful human beings and our technology could ever even touch them with that. Anyway, I'll summarize on this is that I do believe that we are seeing awesome amounts of change. It's right in front of our eyes. Things are coming that we probably don't understand, and we have to be mindful, and we have to figure out how to change at least our own reality, and then encourage others to change that so that we don't become a collective mind and go in a direction that we should not be going. But let's start with ourselves. Let's start with you. I'll start with me. Let's make sure we're becoming the best version of ourselves that we can. And let's ensure that our survival in this human species and this reality, whatever it is, will persist. I hope everybody has a very happy New Year. And I pray that everyone has a wonderful 2025. And I hope I'm wrong about all this. I really do. I'm just here talking about my thoughts. I look forward to hearing from you guys and working with you guys in the future, in the near future. You can go to my website at lifebymazak.com, lifebymazak.com. You can do the rest there. Look me up. You'll hear from me many, many more times. I look forward to hearing from you. Namaste, stay strong, and live your life.